We just spent the most incredible few weeks here in Cebu City in the Philippines. And in today's video, we want to share with you 12 things we wish we knew before visiting Cebu.
Okay, so starting with number one, which is probably the most important, and that is that Cebu has its own type of food. And that's actually the case for, I think, pretty much everywhere in the Philippines. Each region has their own food, but Cebu is definitely known for a specific type of food, so it's worth doing a local food tour.
Now Jay's taking us to somewhere that she says is, if you come to Cebu, this is a must-do experience, must-come-to place, which I'm really excited for. It sounds really fun.
So this is it, Cebu Pungko Pungko.
We feel like a celebrity here.
We did a morning one, so it started at about 10 a.m.
Yeah.
Went for about 3 hours. We went to a bunch of different local food restaurants and markets, and we ate all these incredible types of food. I can't even name all the different types of food.
It's so good. It's really good, really tender.
Oh yeah. Highly recommend doing a food tour in Cebu.
So the next one is that Cebu is known for having one of the oldest churches, I believe in the Philippines, but definitely in Cebu. It's called Basilica. It's a beautiful church. They actually just introduced, I believe about a year ago, a dress code. So it used to be that a lot more people could go for the services and enjoy and experience the church. But they've introduced a new dress code. So you have to have full sleeves, I believe. Your legs need to be covered, closed-toed shoes, you're not allowed to wear shorts, you need to be mostly covered. We spent a lot of time ironing my dress and Lloyd's shirt, but unfortunately my sleeves were a bit too small and Lloyd was wearing shorts. Even though we had very nice outfits on, it just wasn't covered enough. So just something to keep in mind if you're wanting to visit these old monuments, to wear the correct attire. To be quite honest with you, I'm very surprised. I've never known a church to turn people away. I understand that there's standards and stuff, but that's pretty crazy to me. We kind of missed out. We didn't make it in time for the service because we weren't wearing the right attire. So something to keep in mind, that's something that's new, that's been introduced, but very important.
And on that, because Cebu is predominantly Catholic, it is quite a conservative province. So just keep that in mind with most things you do. People are very polite here in Cebu. They're very genuine. They are very giving. You don't see a lot of crime and theft here in Cebu because people are very conservative. So keep that in mind when you come here, that conservatism is a real thing.
So divorce, abortion, things like that are not common here. We met some local kids that actually told us that if they were starving, they would rather perish than to steal food. That's how looked down upon doing something like stealing is here. So just something to really keep in mind while you're here.
Okay, Lechon is Cebu's basically pride and joy when it comes to food. We talked earlier about the food tour. The first day we were here, we knew we had to go and get Lechon because every time I Googled what sort of food should I eat in Cebu, it came up with Lechon, Lechon, Lechon. And I kept seeing these Lechon restaurants everywhere. So Lechon is basically just a whole pig that is spit roasted over a long period of time, and it has real tasty crackling, and then it's served basically just with gravy and some rice. It sounds really simple, but it's incredible. I think Anthony Bourdain even said that was the best roast pork he'd ever experienced anywhere in the world.
Yeah, our tour guide said that the people of Cebu kind of hold that close to their hearts, that Anthony Bourdain said that. So they take great pride in their lechon.
We went to a place called the House of Lechon. It was amazing. The atmosphere, the vibe was all awesome. All the wait staff were amazing. They were singing birthday songs for people, putting on performances. The food was great. It was a little bit expensive because it's more of a tourist attraction. I believe that some of the tour guides and drivers get a little bit of a kickback from the House of Lechon when they bring people there, but it is amazing. If you want to go a bit more local though, you can go to some of the night markets or some of the local Lechon restaurants and try it for yourself. You have to try Lechon if you come to Cebu. I can't stress that enough. All right, one thing we've learned over the last few years of traveling is that the moment you land in a new country, you're going to want data. We just flew from Cambodia, and the second we got to the Philippines here, we had data on our phones already, which meant we were able to order grab food. We were able to get in contact with our Airbnb host. We were able to check Google Maps, use Google Translate, and just figure out where like the best places to eat are in and around where we're staying. And that's why we always travel using an eSIM instead of buying physical SIM cards at the airport. And in particular, recently, we've been traveling with SIM Local. We've been using SIM Local across Southeast Asia, and the reason we like it is pretty simple. It works across borders. So we purchased the Asia eSIM and we were able to use it back in Cambodia and obviously now in the Philippines. It automatically switched networks as soon as we landed, which meant no SIM swapping, no airport kiosks, and no passport handovers. So this plan that we're on gives us 20 gigabyte of data, plus international minutes and texts, which is usually rare for eSIMs. They usually only offer data. And because it's powered by Orange, it automatically connects to the strongest local network wherever you are. So if you're traveling through multiple countries in Asia, or even if you're just going to one destination and you want to make having data extremely simple, we highly recommend checking out SIM Local. We'll leave their link down below in the description, and if you use that, you will get 5% off at checkout.
Okay, so when we did our food tour, we got to ride a jeepney around the city. If you haven't seen a jeepney, we'll pop it on the screen. They're the most unique vehicle we've ever ridden in. There's quite a range of different ones. There's bigger ones, there's smaller ones, but they're so beautiful, and they're like a monument, a very local thing. They're actually trying to get rid of them, we believe, at the moment, but they're just part of the culture here and such a unique local experience. So something you definitely want to try to do. You just need to know where you're going. It's kind of hard to, if you're not a local, to know where to stop. You kind of just like bang on the pole that's on the roof to let the driver know that you want to get off. We loved it. We loved every second of riding the jeepneys, and it fits so many people in there. We were pretty much sardined with a bunch of other people, and it was just a great way to see the city as well.
So speaking of the jeepneys, when we were riding them, the local tour guide that we had told us that they basically operate on an honesty system. So when somebody boards the jeepney, because the driver often is the one taking the money and he's obviously extremely busy, he's got a lot going on, it's up to the passengers to pay the driver and make sure they're paying the right amount, because he can't necessarily keep track of it. And everybody who's on board the jeepney sort of helps out and passes the money back and forth. And this was the case with a lot of restaurants we went to as well. So there was one restaurant we went to where there's basically just a mountain of food on the table. You sit down and there's a bunch of different people walking around working there, but they're not keeping track of what you're eating. You basically have to keep track of everything, and then at the end, you pay for what you've eaten. Okay, it's an honesty system here, so you got to remember what you ordered and pay for it. And that's pretty much it. We had one crab, 2 meatball, 1 sausage, 1 spring roll, 1 chicharron,
Kanay ka ng tauge. Yeah, chicharron,
and 1 pork chop,
pork chop.
and 2 rice.
Sarap. Pork chop.
2 rice.
Isa ka pork chop.
Oh, and 2 Mountain Dew. Obviously, if you were dishonest, you could get away with not paying as much as you should pay, but this comes back to Cebu being very conservative, and they don't really like to lie. I think it works, and most people actually like pay what they should pay because, yeah, they don't want to lie, they don't want to cheat, and they don't want to steal. So we just thought that was a really cool thing.
Our tour guide actually mentioned to us that they have a belief here that if you do lie about, taking food, the food that you eat will actually make you sick or give you a stomach ache, which I kind of like that theory. So we visited a number of different malls while we were here. SM malls are massive. Philippines really prides themselves on their malls. They're a great activity to do, obviously because it's got aircon, but wow, there's so much to do there. There's arcades and playgrounds. We rode these weird little animal things around with Lila. There's fast food in there, just everything, and they're massive, and there's everything that you need. If you are a big shopper, it's a great place to come to go shopping.
big mall culture. Okay, so Cebu itself is a province. So there's Cebu province and then there's Cebu City. Cebu City is where we spent all of our time. But if you wanted to get out and go to the beach or go to the mountains, like you can actually get around Cebu quite easily. It's not that big and it's really, really diverse. So as I mentioned, like there's mountains within like an hour from the city, and then there's the beach, which is in like Mactan and Lapu-Lapu. There's a bunch of different beaches, which are only like 20 minutes away from the inner city. And it's super easy to get around using public transport. You can either use Grab or, as we mentioned earlier, you can use Jeepneys to get to all these different places.
Speaking of Grab, this is the first time that this has been the case for us in all the countries that we've traveled to. We found here that taxis are actually cheaper than Grab. It is a little bit harder to explain to someone where you're going. That's why we tended to still use Grab, because it was just easier to just put in where we're staying and not have to do that miscommunication of trying to explain where we are, because we kind of didn't really know where we are. If you are good at explaining where you're staying, or you're staying at a very popular hotel or Airbnb, getting a taxi will save you money. Local taxis were quite a bit more affordable than Grab.
And that's because they always turn the meter on. If you've been to Mexico, Thailand, Bali, a lot of the times they'll try and haggle you with the price. And that's why we tend not to even get into taxis, because it's just like there's this 10-minute back and forth of like, where are you going? And then how much are you going to pay? And they're going to try and charge you way more than it actually is. Here in Cebu, always turn the meter on, and it's always cheaper than Grab. So I would suggest catching a taxi any chance you get. So Cebu is actually a really good landing spot for the Philippines, in our opinion. Last time we were here, we landed in Manila, but this time we chose Cebu, and it's actually extremely cheap to fly pretty much anywhere in the Philippines from Cebu. So you can get to Boracay for like $30. You can get to Manila for like $30. Siargao, the same. Like you can get pretty much all over the Philippines for very cheap out of Cebu. So I would suggest anybody coming to the Philippines for an extended period of time, I think it's pretty normal for people to fly into Manila, but maybe think about flying into Cebu, because it's a really good launch pad. And if maybe you even want to make it your base and you want to keep coming back to Cebu and flying to other provinces, I think that'd be a good idea as well.
Just to touch a little bit more on Manila, we found it much less hectic here than Manila. For me, I am not a big city person, and I've been able to handle it here a little bit more. So if you're more of like a country person like I am, or a small town person, Cebu is a bit easier to ease yourself into it. It's also super easy to get to and from the airport here, we've found as well. So that's it. That's 12 things we wish we knew before visiting Cebu. We hope you found some value in this video. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the hype button so other people can find this helpful content. And as always, we will see you in the next video. Bye.